Thank you. Was a fader.
Yeah.
And welcome to the Super Fun Awesome Happy Time pedal show. My name is Gabor.
Hey, welcome. I'm Alex, and we've got the Headrush Gigboard today.
That's it. Hang on, let's put this back to about 50%, just so we've got, 45%. Okay, let's go back to, this, yes, Headrush Gigboard. So we used a looper for the intro, because it's quite a cool looper, actually.
Yep. We set up a loop, and basically what we did, we'll get into a bit more, but we just have an input foot switch so I can swap between guitars and jam along with it.
Yep. Before we go on, big thank you to Nick and everyone at Electric Factory here in Australia for sending it out to us as well and having a bit of a play with it. So the Headrush Gigboard, it's a smaller sibling, let's just call it,
yes,
of the Headrush pedal board, which is quite sort of big with an expression pedal, lots of buttons. This is sort of the, scaled down version, 4 buttons. I believe it's the same size touchscreen. And gotta say, touchscreen is excellent.
Yes. Excellent.
You can see it probably in the camera as well. The resolution is awesome. It's super easy to use. It's excellent touchscreen. Yep. So basically what you got is you've got a master volume, you've got this control thing. You can do everything by using the touchscreen, but you can use that as well to scroll things and to push. And you've got these 4 buttons which you can assign to all different effects, but you also have different things, which are the things below it that you can do with it. You have an input, you have stereo output. This is in stereo as well, by the way, recorded. You have an effects loop, which we'll get into later on as well. And you have external, what's it called?
Controls,
like the expression pedal. That's the word I was looking for. And a switch where you can switch between multiple settings of the expression pedal.
Yes. So basically what we're going to do today is first off we're going to set up a sound from scratch. Yep. Because there's heaps of great presets, but we're just going to show you how to build one of your own sounds.
I went through a bunch of them in the unboxing, which you can watch here.
Look at that on the link below, above
there. Yes.
Above is up.
Yes.
And let's get to building sound.
Okay, so basically to start from scratch, there's those 3 little dots up the top. You click on them and you go new rig, and it's all empty at the moment. So there's nothing happening at the moment. Yep. So let's start. Alex, how about you?
Yes.
Guy in the blue. What kind of an amp would you like?
Actually, I've got this thing lately for tweed amps.
Okay, so basically what you can do is maybe keep a few spare in the back for like delays and stuff like that. So let's just go, let's say, there.
Middle, yes.
You double click on it, you click on amp, and you've got a whole bunch of amps now. So what, Tweed Deluxe?
Sure.
Tweed Bassman?
Try Deluxe first.
Tweed Deluxe? Okay, so it automatically assigns, you've got the amp, and it assigns a cabinet to it as well.
So I'm on.
Now one of the cool things you can do is, so it has this basically little on and off switch, so you can switch on it and it turns it on and off, but it also have a ×2. Now you have 2 cabinets.
Excellent.
Yes. So let's leave it at 1 for now.
Yeah.
Let's go, okay, let's double click on the amp. Also what it did is it already assigned the amp and a cabinet to those 2 switches, but we'll change it later on. Let's go to the amp. Okay, what do we want? Do we want more gain, less gain?
Slightly brighter tone.
Brighter?
I think that's a good amount of gain. It's on the edge of breakup kind of world.
So you've got the 2, you've got an instrument input and a mic input. So
just like
one's a bit more gainy, one's a bit more cleaner. Okay, so that amp's there. Now we can double click on the cabinet as well. So what we can do is we can have that 1x12, but we can also, if we really wanted to, we could make it, for example, a...
About 10s.
4x10? Let's make it a 4x10.
It's got some thump now.
Well, the ribbon 1-to-1 I always find it has a lot of bass. If because this is all the mics it can use. Any particular mic preferences?
No.
Let's try a couple. It's 57.
421 wasn't too bad.
421. Let's just use that as a bass tone.
Yeah.
Right? And then what you can do is you can make 2 of them. Ooh. And so, for example, one of the cool things you can do with that is, so now, for example, if you want to add the 1-to-1 to it, you've got a bit thumpiness from that.
Well, then the other one might want to be maybe a condenser to balance out the darkness of a ribbon.
Okay.
So we could go as an 87 I saw there, or a 67.
87, yeah.
One of those kind of normal.
You can even make it 2 heads if you want.
Wow.
That's a different head, so it assigns a different head to it. Let's just leave it 1 head for now. But I mean, you can add stuff to it.
Cool.
Then you probably would like some reverb.
Yeah, maybe spring. Let's start that classic kind of.
Reverb, spring reverb.
Yes.
Default stereo. Let's go. Actually, let's double check. Yeah, output is set to. Let's just go default stereo output.
Cool.
Okay, so we've got a spring reverb.
Cool. Maybe a bit darker tone.
Darker, okay.
I always find with delays and reverbs, if you can roll the high end off it, they sit nicerly.
Nicerly. Yes.
They sit betterly. Behind your guitar tone and don't distract from your playing. Sounded cool.
Okay. So that's that. So that again automatically assigned it now to this button, so that turns the spring reverb on and off. So you've got those 4 kind of blocks on the bottom here. Each of them represent one of these buttons, and it's usually color coordinated. You can change colors and stuff. We'll get into all that as well. Let's say, okay, what else do we want?
How about a booster drive? Some sort.
Okay, in front of it. Let's go maybe here.
Sure.
Distortion, white boost.
Okay.
Let's see what that does. Analog warmth.
Sure.
Okay, so what we can now, for example, start doing is, because now this is all taken up, what we can do is we can go into this thing called hardware assign. So, for example, we can click on this and we can make that the white boost. So this is now the white boost. We don't need the cab thing. We can unassign that. We don't really need the spring reverb either, because that's always on.
Yeah, leave the amp.
Unassign it and get rid of this. So now we only have this, basically, right? The boost. And you can also, if you go into the boost, you can change the color. So let's say you want the boost to be blue.
Yes, we do.
Or green, sorry.
That's green.
Okay. That's like a greeny color. You do that. If you want it to be pink, you do pink. You can change the color of it, basically. Let's go. Well, green's usually more like delays, isn't it?
Is it?
To me, yeah. Maybe that's from the Line 6 thing. But anyway. Let's just make it yellow. There you go. Yellow is the boost.
White boost is yellow.
White boost is yellow. Well, is there a white?
I don't think so, no.
No, there is no white. So
well,
let's just leave it at that. Let's go.
A fuzz of some sort.
Fuzz, okay. Maybe let's put that. Well, maybe not first. Let's put a second. Let's go distortion. What about a tri-fuzz?
Yeah.
Would you like it to be... so these are presets within the fuzz, but of course you can change everything. Do you want it bright, heavy, crushy, soft, tiz, whatever that is?
Let's try tiz.
Tiz.
No
Let's
idea.
go tiz.
No idea what
it's
that is.
tizzy now.
Really thick.
Super. Well, it's kind of reminiscent of a. I mean, if you look at the picture.
Yeah.
And the knobs as well, volume, sustain, and tone. It's sort of, you kind of know what it does.
Something like that. that. Cool.
Let's maybe move the spring reverb one back. So the other cool thing is, so you can change the order. You just hold it down and move it to wherever you want to move it. Let's maybe add a delay there.
Sure.
Dynamics. Oh no, sorry. Where are we? Reverb delay. What would you like? Would you like a tape echo, barbecue deluxe delay?
Let's go barbecue deluxe.
Yeah.
Barbecue. That sounds fantastic.
Let's do a mod chorus.
Okay. Might turn the fuzz off because that's insanely sustainy.
And so on, and you can keep going. So let's do one more thing. Let's do, for example, so we have breaking things. We have an expression pedal, just a cheap expression pedal hooked up here. So what we can, for example, do is, should we get, what would you like?
Should we do
a whammy?
Whammy.
Yeah. I mean, okay, let's.
You're the patron saint of whammies, aren't you?
Yeah. Would you rather do wah whammy? What would you want to do?
No, whammy sounds cool.
Go whammy?
Okay. Yeah, I never use whammy.
Whammy plus one, well, not plus 2 octaves.
That's a bit silly.
That's a bit silly, plus 1 octave.
That's silly.
And now we do, so the whammy is now purple.
Cool.
And going to this, we're going to hardware assign. And now it's already assigned, so that's now assigned to the pitch. So this will now...
That's very cool.
Whammy. But now the cool thing is, so we've got one expression pedal attached. You have this other thing in the back called toe. So some expression pedals will have a thing like a wah where you press it and then it goes to a secondary function. But you can also just, again, hook up an El Cheapo little toggle switch. Yeah. So what we can, for example, also do is we can go, let's say, after the distortions, but before the amp and before the delays and stuff. And let's add a volume pedal, for example. Default expression, yeah. So now if we go again into hardware assign, what we can do is we can assign the B. It's already done it. So you've got an A and a B, and this toggles, if you can sort of see it maybe, it toggles, the letter changes to green. It toggles between A and B. So if it's set to A, like right now, it's the whammy.
Let's try it all.
And so on. So you can toggle between, and it could be a volume pedal. It could be all the expression stuff. So if we go into another thing, it's all set under expression. It can be, you've got different types of wahs. You've got a panner, so you can manually pan things. You've got a harmonizer where you can blend things in. Whammy. You've got volume and wahs. Basically, that's what you got. Let's try, just for the sake of it. Let's make this whammy. Let's try the other way of doing it. So let's go back to the whammy. If you want to get rid of something, you put your finger on it, you hold it down, and you drag it down to drag here to delete. Do you want to delete this? Yes. So now it's gone, right? So what you can now do is you can double click on it. Let's go to maybe expression. Let's do, what wah do you want? Shine wah, black wah, or more wah?
More wah, definitely.
More wah. Because why not do more if you can have more? Yeah. So now this is a wah. Still again, if you push this, And it turns the wah off, and changes over to the.
It's very clever with picking up
to the volume pedal. Yeah, it's killer. It's absolutely awesome. And I mean, you can add more stuff. You can, and then you save it. And so let's do that. So what you can do is you can save it. You press save new rig. You give it a name. Let's do the
call it Darren.
Darren
the rig.
Darren rig. Okay, Darren rig. So now it's Darren rig. Now let's quickly change to the secondary functions here of these buttons. So you've got these four buttons. At the moment, they turn pedals on and off.
Kind of like a traditional rig.
You have these things written below here, right? So for example, if you hold button 4 in, it goes to tuner.
Yep.
Where you can also set global tempo for things. If you hold in number 3, it goes to the looper, which is what we did at the start. If you hold in... No, let's skip that one for now. If you hold in number 1, it gives you different ways of viewing the things. So at the moment, we're on stomp mode. Now, stomp mode means all those 4 switches can be assigned to a pedal, basically, right? But what you can also do is you can go to rig setting. Now, rig means down the bottom, basically, you have 2 rigs. So at the moment, we've got Alex 1 and Alex 1. But you can scroll through different rigs, and there's Alex 2, Alex 3, and there's Darren.
Yeah, Darren.
So we can go very quickly, for example. Now, this button became Alex 3. This button is Alex 2.
Let's try 3 again.
So it's got Alex 3, which is one that he did before. So that's a way of going between rigs. You can also hold it in again and go to what they call a hybrid setting, where the first few buttons are pedals you can turn on and off, and this actually scrolls through the rigs. So you can go back to Alex 3, Darren.
Yeah.
And lastly, you also have a set list view. So what you can do is you can actually have songs that you put into a set list specifically for a set.
Yep.
And you just click through it one by one, and you go to the next song, basically. So that's different ways of viewing it, and you do all that by just holding down view. Now, another really cool thing is hands-free. So if you hold this down, what you actually do is you can change parameters on the fly. So with this, you can kind of scroll through. So for example, the fuzz. Let's go to the fuzz.
Yep.
There's volume, sustain, and tone. So for example, we can go to sustain, and using those 2 buttons, you can actually go up and down. It's like you can turn a knob up and down. So for example, we go down to almost no sustain.
Let's see. But the pedal's not on.
We got to turn. Yeah, that's what we got to do. We got to turn.
Yes.
We got to turn the pedal on. Then it works. Take 2. So for example, I know we're on a white boost, but let's go. Where's the? Hang on. Amp cab, delay, spring reverb. You can go through all of them. Try fuzz. Let's try that again. Now you can do that with anything. So, for example, hands-free. Let's turn a fuzz off. For example, let's go to the amp.
Yeah, if you just want to adjust the overall tone of your, say you've got like a really dark carpenter's stage that's really dead, and you want a little bit more top end,
or you want more drive. So you can do all that on the fly, basically. It goes through all the. You can go to all the parameters of all the blocks you have on there, and change them on the fly just by pushing a button, hands free, which I think is killer. So that's
it's a very simple, elegant way to do it.
Absolutely. You also have, I should quickly mention that, on the input side, you have it does have a gate as well, which is on by default. And you can see, so this is the noise. It's actually kind of cool. See, there's a white line.
So
if you move the white line, so there's not a lot of hiss there, but there's a little bit of hiss there. But
it's not gained up, so if there's more distortion, it would.
But you can actually, okay, well, let's go back to that. Let's fuzz on, and let's go back to the gate. But you see, it's really visual. You see where the noise is, and you can move the line just above it, if you wanted to, if you so desire. If you don't want to have it. I mean, it is super high gain, so it's pretty cool. Now, one of the other things you can do is you can actually change. At the moment, you've got the input, and it kind of goes through here and then through there to the output. You can actually change the routing of the rig. So you can split things, you can run things in parallel, you can even have 2 amps, and one comes out of one end, one comes out of one speaker, one comes out of the other speaker out.
Yes.
You can put effects onto one side or the other side, so you have different ways of routing things, basically. And it just puts it, I mean, you can sort of see it there like that. You can make up different sounds and different things. Lastly, there's also an effects loop. So at the moment we have an effects loop. I don't know if you can see it here. We have the Fairfield circuitry.
It's the unpleasant surprise.
Unpleasant surprise, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Is in the effects loop. So what you can do is you can assign one of these to the effects loop.
Yep.
Let's just make it default, and then let's go into here again, hardware assign. Don't need to have the wah. Let's unassign a wah. So here we want to assign the effects loop, the on-off. So that's now the effects loop. That's always on. So now what we can do, and again, you can move it anywhere you want in the chain. So we can now go from this.
It's kind of something you wouldn't get in most
multi-effect units.
Yeah, that's kind of splattery fuzz, or if you have like some crazy modulated, distorted reverb or something. Well, if you really love, or if there's one drive pedal you can't live without,
or a bunch of pedals, and you can put them in, and you can turn the one on that you want, and you run them all to the effects loop. So it's super highly versatile. I mean, we've basically today in this video we just went through direct into amp, but you can just use it. You can use it. I mean, sorry, direct in without an amp.
Yeah.
You can use it into an amp as well. You don't have to have the amp emulation on it. You can just use the effect and go into an amplifier.
Yeah.
It also has a switching option in the back, so you can, which is totally assignable as well. So you can plug in a TRS cable that goes into your amp switcher, like where you would put your
like a foot switch
input in the back of your amp, and by changing parameters, and you can change the channel on your amp as well. It also has MIDI out. It also has USB, so you can hook it up to other things and make it work together. And it's quite deep with a lot of that stuff as well. So you can decide when you push a button, does it send the is it like with TRS, is it tip, is it the ring, is it the sleeve, whichever one you want to do.
I think for me, this is kind of a bit of a next level kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, not only is it firstly it sounds great and actually feels really good.
Yeah.
To be bluntly honest, and it's really easy to use and make it simple. You can have like an amp on and a couple of boosts and a tremolo and a delay or something.
Yeah.
Or you can go crazy and put amp switching stuff, MIDI controls. You can have things that effects.
You can go as wild as you want.
Expression pedals. So it's kind of can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be.
Exactly.
Or need it to be.
But from a I mean, you can make it as complicated as you want, but from an actual using it and setting it up, it's super simple.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us have even looked at the manual in any way, shape, or form at all. And I think we've sort of covered most things you can do with it, because it is super intuitive. That's the word I'm trying to think of. It's really easy to use, super intuitive.
One of the things going for it is the touchscreen.
Touchscreen it's an awesome screen, and the resolution is fantastic. So you know, gig-wise, you see it. You'll definitely see it in the dark at a gig. So that's
Very cool.
I mean, I think both of us pretty much like
Yeah.
And it's not because they sent it to us, but both of us give it. Yeah. I really like it. I really, really enjoyed it. It sounds great, easy to use, killer touchscreen. It's quite substantial too. There's a bit of weight to it. So
build quality is great.
So that's a Headrush Gigboard. Big thank you to Electric Factory once again for sending it out. We'll be talking about it in a podcast. We already have talked about it somewhat in podcasts, but we'll be talking about it more in podcasts. All the social media is below.
Like and subscribe to the channel if you could, and hit the notification bell. We'll send you a notification when there's new videos up. I think that's covered it all.
That's it. Thanks for watching.
Have fun.
See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.